All right, coroner IDs man killed during attempted break-in at Englewood home. And this is Englewood, Ohio. I don't know why it doesn't say it on here. A man who died early Friday after he was shot during a reported attempted home burglary in Englewood has been identified. Matthew Culham, 43, was pronounced dead at the scene. Around 2:03 a.m., a 911 caller reported that they woke up to someone trying to break into their home in the 600 block of whatever street. The woman's boyfriend said the house's back windows were broken. While on the phone with dispatch, the woman reported shots had been fired. Englewood police said the second residence was armed with a handgun and went outside to investigate. The alleged suspect reportedly confronted the second resident. 3 shots were fired. When officers arrived, they found a man lying in the yard near the home. Englewood medics responded, but the man was pronounced dead. A Montgomery County Coroner's Office investigator also responded to assist the police. The Englewood police are continuing to investigate. So in a lot of cases, this is the only way that you're going to make these like home invasions even stop, because people they'll keep doing it. And this guy, obviously, it stopped permanently. And I wonder about sometimes when a guy does it and he gets shot and then, maybe does some jail time, if he goes back to still doing it, even knowing he got shot once. This guy obviously can't do it ever again because he was fatally shot. So, I don't know. It's literally, it's the only way these things are ever going to stop. So let's go to this one. Shots fired, suspect injured during Lakeview Drive truck theft Thursday. A vehicle theft suspect ended up at Swedish Edmunds Hospital after being shot by the truck's owner's relative while leaving the scene. Mountain Lake Terrace Police Commander Scott King said the suspect was in the process of stealing a truck around 4:30 a.m. Thursday and was confronted by the truck's owner's relative. The thief pointed a pistol at the relative in response, but the relative was also armed with a handgun and fired at the suspect. The person stealing the truck was successful and drove away, not to freedom, but to the hospital. Nice. A short time later, received a report of a subject at the Swedish Edmunds with a gunshot wound. Investigators were able to determine the subject was the person who stole the truck. The suspect is in the hospital being treated for gunshot wounds and is in stable condition. There is no danger to the public, and all parties are accounted for. Detectives are still investigating the case. So this, again, is another one. So this guy, he was successful in stealing the truck, but he didn't get far because he got shot and he had to go to the hospital. And you wonder, it doesn't say the age of these people. And a lot of times these are teenagers. But you have to wonder, is shooting them going to make them learn and make them not do it again? Because when you're not killing these people for the most part. And I don't know. I don't know if it's when they're just injured. I wish if somebody that's watching this knows of anyone that did this stuff, got shot, and then turned their life around, like if the shooting helped, that would be interesting to know, because I would wonder what percentage of and I'm assuming this is some kid, a teenager or something. I mean, older people do it too, but for the most part, it's usually teenagers. And I would be curious to know what percent of people that get shot in the commission of some of these crimes, what percentage of them are, learning their lesson, so to speak. Okay, let's go to Grovetown. Shooting in Grovetown involves domestic incident. This must be our suspect, Devarius Domingo Hampton. Get rid of that. All right. A man has been arrested on criminal trespass and family violence charges after the Grovetown Police Department responded to reports of shots fired on Monday. The incident took place after 9 p.m. Responding officers learned that a woman had shot a man who allegedly beat on the front door and window attempting to enter the home. Police stated the woman said the man was the father of her 2-year-old daughter, and she was currently 9 months pregnant with his child as well, according to the police. The woman shot 36-year-old Devarius Hampton, striking him in the upper right arm. Hampton fled the scene, running to the 100 block of Adams Lane. Officers were dispatched to that location where medical aid was given until EMS arrived. Hampton was taken to the local hospital, received treatment before being transported to the Columbia County Detention Center. He was arrested on unrelated outstanding probation warrants and was also charged with criminal trespass, family violence. According to the police department, the woman did not suffer physical injuries and will not face charges in the investigation. The investigation revealed that the female was acting in self-defense of not only herself and her unborn child, but 2 minor children that were in the home as well. So this is something that is good to see, because these domestic violence situations, this Devarius Hampton included, they often don't end like this. And these women need to be able to protect themselves. And if the guy would have got in there and beat her up, she could have lost the baby. She could have lost her own life. Either of her kids could have been harmed in this. And people just have to see that this it's not something that you take lightly. These women go out and they take, they get the police to come out, and it just escalates the situation when you involve the police. And this way, she didn't kill him, so he's still going to get let out. And when he gets let out, he's probably going to come right back, because eventually he's going to get let out. He'll come right back. But, these women think the police are going to help them. But when these guys are at your door, the police are at minimum 5 minutes away if they come right away. Unless they're right around the block patrolling and they just happen to be right there and they can get there in a few minutes. But for the most part, you got to figure it's going to take a few minutes. And this guy can do a lot of damage in a few minutes. But she needs to make sure she's, stays on top of it, because he's going to get let out. And especially with these charges they gave him, these aren't anything he'll be out on a very low bond or no bond at all. Outstanding probation warrants, that's what he was charged with, and criminal trespass. They'll tell him, as a condition of your bond, you're not supposed to go see this lady again. But that's, when does that ever stop him? All right, North Charleston, South Carolina, man drags woman through front yard. Witness grabs his handgun. All right, let's see what happened here. When a lake subdivision neighbor saw a man dragging a woman by her hair through the front yard of a nearby home, he went inside and grabbed his handgun. He'd seen the man dragging her along the fence line, through the grass, and towards the front door of the nearby home. On January 4th, he stopped and asked the woman if she was okay, and she responded no. The witness called 911 and returned to the scene armed for his and the victim's protection. He told officers when North Charleston police arrived at the scene, an officer drew a duty weapon and ordered both men to surrender. The incident state reports the witness dropped his handgun and told officers he'd called 911. Officers arrested Jackson Edwin Papin, who's 33 years old, of North Charleston, on the scene and charged him with domestic violence in the first degree. While handcuffed, Papin yelled at officers, protesting the arrest and demanding to be released. The police officers noted Papin was visibly intoxicated, slurred his words, and smelled of alcohol. There was no explicit mention if the redacted incident report of a blood alcohol test being administered. This is Jackson Papin's first criminal offense in the Tri-County area, according to records. On January 5th, a magistrate judge set a $250,000 cash bond for Papin's release with the conditions that he have no contact with the victim or those in her circle. Yeah, because that works. As of 11:30 a.m., Papin is listed as a current inmate at the Elkanon Detention Center, not yet posting bond. So this lady actually, she better be moving right now while this guy's in jail. She better be moving and making sure that he can't find her address, because he's definitely coming back. I mean, she needed a neighbor to protect her, and that guy's not going to always be there. So hopefully for that woman's sake that this works out okay and she's able to go somewhere and find somebody. There's places that'll help, that she's able to go somewhere and find somebody that will um, help her like hide, at least for a little while. I had a friend that happened to. I don't, someone I knew years ago, and she was with some dude. She had 2 kids with him, and he came home from work and he went upstairs, and he says, "I'm going upstairs to get a cigarette, and when I come back down, I'm going to kill you." And she believed him, and she grabbed the kids and grabbed whatever she could carry and real quickly and just ran out the door. And she moved, um, like 1,000 miles away. She had people help her move like 1,000 miles away. He eventually found her as they got older, as the kids got older, because they were on social media, and he found out where they were. But he had been in jail for a long time, and then I guess at that point he didn't care anymore or something, enough to come back at her. But yeah, when there's places, and I don't remember who she said helped her, but some place helped her move like far away. All right. Tucson police investigating fatal shooting on W. Road. I would not want to live on that road. Aho Road. 23-year-old woman is dead after a shooting Saturday afternoon east of Aho Way on Interstate 19. At 1:30 p.m. on January 4th, the Public Safety Commission Department received a 911 call reporting the shooting. Officers quickly responded and found the victim, later identified as 23-year-old Nashoni Nunez, suffering from gunshot wounds. Despite immediate first aid by officers and further life-saving efforts by the Tucson Fire Department personnel, Nunez was found dead at the scene. The adult male caller, who admitted to discharging his handgun, stayed on site and cooperated with investigators. Police say Nunez and the caller were in a domestic relationship. Preliminary findings indicate that Nunez forcibly entered the victim's apartment, where an altercation ensued, during which she was shot. Detectives from the homicide unit are continuing to investigate. No charges have been made. So, wait, forcibly entered where an altercation ensued and which she was shot. So the woman, Nashoni, I don't know if that's a male or a female, but Nunez, the caller. So the woman was the aggressor in this one. Okay, well, that's a little different. The woman was the aggressor. She broke in, and and then the adult male caller, who admitted to discharge. So, and then the adult male has to kill her. See, the people don't talk about this a lot, but some of these women go like crazy. And yeah, well, I wish they had a picture of the woman who that was, but her name is Nashoni Nunez. Nunez makes it sound like she's Hispanic. Okay, Warsaw, Missouri. Man killed in a stabbing and shooting incident at a motel. One man has died and another one injured after a fight at the motel in Warsaw on Friday, according to the Benton County Sheriff Eric Knox. The incident happened at the Lake Hills Motel on Highway 83. Sheriff Knox said an argument escalated into a fight between 55-year-old man from Illinois and a 55-year-old Kevin Noland of Warsaw. Noland was stabbed and died at the scene. Authorities believe the man who stabbed Noland was the man from Illinois. Another man, a 61-year-old Warsaw, intervened and shot the suspect in the leg. The man who stabbed Noland was taken by helicopter to a regional trauma center for treatment. Sheriff Knox says he will be taken into custody once released from medical care. Sheriff Knox says the investigation is ongoing and urges anyone with information to contact Detective Johns with the Benton County Sheriff's Office. And that looks like that's it. On that one, somebody was stabbed and somebody else shot the person that stabbed them. So there's a lot of these defensive stories are all very interesting because they're all different. A lot of times you'll get the guy with the gun will just hold people until hold whoever the suspect, whatever they're doing, until the cops arrive. Sometimes they shoot him. He shot him in the leg, so he wasn't trying to kill him, which is probably the best way if that's enough to stop him, so that you don't end up You know, Missouri's probably fine, but some of these states, if you shoot somebody, you find yourself being the one in jail and the criminal is the one getting let go, like, you know, an hour later. So all these stories, it's just interesting to hear them. So that was all I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed at least some of those self-defense stories, and I'll try and get more of these out because I know that these are one of the things people like the most. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.